what to do when you face new challenges or overcoming new challenges. Challenges will always come as long as you live. Jesus said, in this world ye shall have tribulation, troubles, but in me ye shall have peace. The world ain't going to get any better than it is right now. It's not going to get any better. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled with all these nice preaching and sermons. Everything's going to be all right. Everything's going to be all right. And everything's going to be all right. If you hold on a little bit longer, it's going to be all right. Ain't going to be any all right. But Jesus said, in me ye shall have peace. Stay in Jesus. That's where peace is. You can't find peace anywhere in the world. It's not going to get any better out there. Ain't no nation going to be better out there. All the nations are in turmoil and they will be troubled. And the United Nations cannot solve the problems of the world and can't find peace. You can't legislate peace, create peace by sitting over round tables and having teas and coffees and biscuits. Peace is a person. It's not a commodity. It's a person, and his name is the Prince of Peace. And until we bring him to the table, until we bring the Prince of Peace to the table and get him involved in the decisions we make and let him determine the decisions we make, we will never know peace. It's not a commodity. Peace is a person. His name is the Prince of Peace. And until he steps in the equation, the world will never know peace. Turn your Bibles with me to Numbers 13 and 33. Numbers 13 and 33.
And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants. And we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so were we in their sight.
We were in our own eyes as grasshoppers, and therefore they saw us as grasshoppers because we saw ourselves as grasshoppers. We acted as grasshoppers, so we were defined by ourselves as grasshoppers. As a man thinketh in his heart, so he is. Ladies and gentlemen, their enemies did not define them as grasshoppers. They saw themselves as grasshoppers and acted as such. Therefore, their enemies saw them as grasshoppers because they saw themselves as grasshoppers. Giants will reduce your value. If you don't understand why they appear, why they come, why they show up, giants come and confront you at the moment of your promise. Every promise God has for you will attract a giant. Because giants are designed to block the promises of God. Giants are promise blockers and blessings blockers. They appear as opposition, as a resistance. They're unbearable. They come to override you, make you vulnerable, weak, weary, fatigue, incapacitate you, and undermine your confidence, and make you relinquish your rights of ownership. There's only one group of people in life they call my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Judges. They call judges my Lord, my Lord. My leadership, my Lord. The only time you hear that word again, my Lord, has to do with when someone has ownership of a property or a land. They call that person landlord. So you are lord over what you have ownership of. And the enemy don't want you to be lord over anything. So he sends giants your way to intimidate you, threaten you. And cause you to relinquish your rights of ownership. Say, I refuse to give up on my rights of ownership. You can't be Lord over my property. You are only Lord over what you have ownership of. And every one of us here, we are born and designed to be landlords. There is a portion for you in the land of the living. I said there is a portion for you. But before you take ownership of that portion, someone called a giant will show up in your promised land. For every promised land, there will be giants. If there are no giants, then you are not going anywhere. And that means your promise is irrelevant and it's not weighty. But if the promise is weighty and is giving you the right of inheritance for you to become Lord over a portion of the earth, then it will attract giants. Giants. Blessing blockers. Promise blockers. Enemies of progress. They are designed to overwhelm you and override you and compel you yourself to relinquish your right of ownership and cede your dominion mandate to them. Number one, they are designed to intimidate you, right? Intimidation. 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 Put fear in you. Make you afraid. That is their design. They are designed to intimidate, threaten, make you afraid. Turn to somebody and ask them a question and say, if you are not afraid, what will you do? Just think. Like I said, the fishes in the aquarium were not designed to be in the aquarium. They were designed to be in the ocean. But they've been restricted, limited to the aquarium. And they will stay in the aquarium until they die. And they will never experience the freedom of that mighty ocean. And so many of us have been programmed to believe that we are okay, we are doing well, it's great. And yet, you were created for the ocean and not the aquarium. But the reason why you've been restricted and limited to the aquarium experience is because a giant, a blessing and a promise blocker is opposing you.